tearing up just walking up here. It's not a good sign. I'm Kevin Murray. I've been friends with Dave for 11 years. And to minimize the chances of me not being able to finish, I actually wrote out my thoughts, and I'm going to stick to them pretty closely. So thanks for indulging me in that. Dave was actually one of the first guys that I got to know when we moved to Charlottesville 11 years ago. My wife and I, Lisa, and at the time we had our first daughter was born, Bailey. She was only a few months old. And my first memory of Dave is moving into Dick and Margot's farmhouse, our first home in Charlottesville. And it was on a particularly hot summer day that we were moving in. And Dave helped us move in. We didn't really have much furniture at the time, but the furniture that we did have, we wanted to try to keep it in pretty good shape. And so here's my memory of Dave, which is that he helped us move in the couch. And we got that in the living room, and we're all just as sweaty as could possibly be. I mean, just drenched. And we took a break, and I thought, well, I'm going to stay away from the couch because I don't want to get that sweaty. And Dave just went, oh, just laid right out on the couch. And he just sweat dripping all over the place, just rubbing his arms all over. And I said, what is this guy doing? What is he thinking? I remember conflicting thoughts because I thought, what is he doing? On the other hand, I thought, this guy's going to be a friend of mine. I can tell. I can just tell. He's got something that connects with me. And for 11 years, I couldn't dream of having a friend that was as close or as devoted, as sacrificial, or more connected to me with my sense of humor, my personality. I loved Dave like a brother because he was a brother. He was the first guy I called when Lisa was in the hospital giving birth to our third daughter. I'm sorry, she's our fourth daughter, Megan. Yes. Delivery started fine, but then Megan got stuck coming out, and the doctor whisked Lisa away, and I was there by myself. And Dave was the first guy who I called. Got him right on the phone, told him what was happening. He said, all right, I'm on it, boom. He was calling people right away, getting the prayers going. And he was the first guy at the hospital. I was there by myself until Dave got there. And I just remember him walking down the aisle, the hall towards me. Tears were going down his face. And he was saying to me as he was walking toward me with his arms open, he said, I prayed to God and said, please God, don't do it. Don't take Lisa and this baby. You know, and it was just so heartfelt. He was the first one to hold Meg, other than me and Lisa, the first of our friends and family. And Meg is now 4, and Dave is no longer with us. But I'll make sure that Meg knows the story of how Dave loved her, prayed for her, and how he served our family in that time of crisis. As with all of us, I have many memories of Dave. It's just a matter of what to pick, you know. Mission trips to Prague, being his assistant home group leader at Blue Ridge here, and then Ravenna, which is where we are now. Camping, poker, Dave and Joanne selling their house to us. Guys' night out, Brian Regan, The Simpsons, Arrested Development, coming to Washington, D.C. and Richmond to support Lisa with her road races, Christopher Guest movies, superpowers. Dave believed that everybody has a superpower. And Dave's superpower was he was Packer-Man. So whenever anybody in the church was moving, he was at the back of the van. And he would take everything and he'd organize it. You'd bring him something and you'd say, well, Dave, there's a space up there, but that's not going to fit. Packer-Man was like, he'd go, well, that's Packer-Man. I'm antivirus man. I don't get sick, and when I do, that means there's kryptonite around. Tom Starkey is chameleon man. He fits in with everybody. Dave identified that power. and Scott Knight was, well, we never found a superpower. But Dave believed that he has one. Carry on that journey to find that for Scott. Apple picking together with our families mountain biking at his house, book club lunches at Guadalajara with some of the guys that are here today. The list goes on and on. But you know, even with all the memories, the biggest impression that Dave left in my life was what I learned from him. I was going to read it, but I'll just summarize. You're familiar with the verses there. It's in John 21, and it's when Jesus was appearing to Peter in his resurrected body, and he was saying, "Do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, I love you. Feed my sheep." He says that 3 times, "Feed my sheep." And as Christians, we know when we read the Bible, it's always profitable. But there are times when we read that it hits us specifically. It's like God speaking directly to us. And when Dave said that early in his Christian life, he read those verses and it was God speaking directly to him. And this became his overarching call for his life. God equipped him to do it. And as a consequence, we all learned from Dave. He was a shepherd who moved us all forward to a closer relationship with the true shepherd. And I can't exaggerate to the extent, I can't exaggerate the extent that my life has been shaped by Dave's wisdom, by his teaching and his mentoring. He has a significant influence in my understanding of theology, of parenting, of relationships, in virtually every area of my life. The shepherding is even there in the memories. So, for example, when I remember Dave dripping all of his sweatiness on my couch, I smile at it, and that's appropriate. But I also remember what he was doing at that moment. He was making a point that things are not as important as, are not as important as relationships, and he wanted to see my response. He wanted to see would I be upset. You know, how would I respond to this? Would I jeopardize relationship to say, "Don't sweat on my couch"? I mean, he was joking in his beautiful way that he put his gift to work. He was teaching me things even at that moment. And when he came to see Lisa and me at the hospital with tears streaming down his face, asking that God would not take my wife and daughter, he was showing me what it meant to truly love people. Not praying for us just because it was our need, but because he loved people so much that he empathized with whatever situation they might be in. He was rejoicing when they rejoiced. He was mourning when they mourned. And so here we are today, gathering for the first time specifically as the sheep of Dave's flock, mourning together for the loss of this faithful, loving, and obedient servant who shepherded all of us.
Amen.